So shooters and reloaders out there, Fortune Cookie 45 LC coming to you from the hot lead zone, and good morning to all of you out there. Now what we have here is these fine bullets that are 459 diameter, 500 grains, cast from a NOE mold, powder coated mold. So these bullets are useless without powder coating. And what I have here are all the good ones, and the best rejects are in there. And I saved these rejects for a reason, because we're going to test the powder coating with them and also use them for fouling shots and zeroing and this kind of thing. So don't throw your good rejects away. The bad ones, of course, need to go back in the casting pot, but the good rejects have usefulness. And what we're going to do is test this powder, Eastwood Aqua. It is the Aqua Blue Hot Coat. Should be a nice powder, but again, we can't anticipate and get disappointed in this kind of thing. We'll see how this works. But also we're going to test the use of non-stick aluminum foil and parchment paper. Now this is made by the Fine Reynolds Company, and unfortunately it's fairly expensive. Like it's $5 for this, and they use recycled paper. Goodness, recycled paper, and then it's parchment paper, and it's $5 for this box. Must be coated with gold or something. Now I recommend, if you're going to go ahead and if the test is good on parchment paper, you might want to get it from Kirkland or something like that. But this non-stick foil food lifts right off. Well, $4.50 for this. Again, must have gold in there, because this whole oven only costs $20. You're trying to tell me that this is worth half the oven? Goodness. Well, one thing though is it's guaranteed. It says our unconditional guarantee. So guess what? If the powder coat doesn't work well with this parchment paper, then I can go back and complain, right? Ha! We shall see. So right now I'm cleaning the bird yellow out of my bowl here, the vibratory tumbler bowl, and I'm wearing my respirator. This is a little mask just to keep it from getting into the nose, and doing it over some regular tin foil so we can pour it back into the bag. The warning label says if you inhale this powder, get to fresh air immediately. So the directions say that the non-stick foil, you gotta use the dull side. That's the non-stick side. If you use the shiny side, you don't get any non-stick. So it's the dull side. And then there's the parchment paper, and notice I cut it to fit perfectly, and that's because the doggone stuff is made out of gold. So there's our test bullets going through the Aqua, and you can see them spinning in there. And the powder is circulating real well, so if they're going to coat, they should coat nicely, and they look like they're doing that, but we remember from the burnt yellow that just because it looks good doesn't mean that the powder is going to really stick there. We shall see. So shooters and reloaders out there, this came out of the oven and I let it cool, and I'm showing it to you now. This was on the non-stick foil on its side. And I think that's where it was lying on its side. Let's show you another one. Now bear in mind that there are some, these are reject bullets, but it looks like right there was where it was lying on its side. Right there. Once again, this is in daylight, trying to see where, there it is. That little defect right there, that's where it was lying on its side. Right there. Now bear in mind that these are heavy, so if they're going to have a problem, these will do it. Now here's the other one. There it is. That's where it was lying on its side on a non-stick foil. And when it's in a different angle, you hardly even see it. Look at the noses. Again, these are reject bullets, so there's going to be some wrinkles in them. And now these four were standing on their end. So let's take them off the non-stick foil, and you see it doesn't stick. So I guess non-stick means non-stick. So these were standing on their end. And notice we got a clump there. I was afraid to shake it too hard because it didn't look like we were going to get good coverage. So I kind of left that clump on there. But no, we can shake it and get those clumps off. And notice you didn't see those little irregularities, because what we have here is a powder that when it melts at 400, it actually flows and gets rid of the little tongue marks and all that kind of thing. So the Aqua is a one coat and done, and that's what we like. Now the parchment paper, we'll take the 5 that are lying on their side, and there's no sticking at all in the parchment paper. Oh, wait a minute, we got a little bit of sticking together with the bullets here. So these 5 were lying on their side, and those are on their bases. We'll look at the ones lying on their side first. So right there, it looks like right there is the mark of the slug lying on its side. And right there is where it was touching one of the other slugs. We'll put this one down. Look at another one. There. That's where it was lying on its side, in contact with the parchment paper. So this is the result that Elvis got with parchment paper, and there it is right there. I think the non-stick foil actually did better. You compare that with non-stick foil, and that looks pretty good. There's a defect in the slug that made it a reject. Look at another one. Here's example number 3. Aha! That was where it was touching one of the other slugs. There it is. That is the mark at 90 degrees to where it was touching the other slug. That's the mark left by the parchment paper. Parchment paper is more expensive than the non-stick foil, and the non-stick foil you get more of it. There's the 3 we just looked at, and now here's the 4th one. There it is, right there. Now that one came out pretty nice. Maybe I had less powder on that one, and so it didn't cause any kind of problem on the contact. So now here's the last one. That might be it. So the parchment paper did real well. Maybe not quite as well as the non-stick foil, but we got some good solutions here. So finally, these were on their bases. And there was no blemish caused by contact on the bases with the parchment paper. So aha, some of those tongue marks actually did come through and not get covered, but you know what? That's still a pretty good result. The base up is a can't go wrong. So when it flowed, now I wonder if some of that bird yellow got on there. And if that's the case, that's what explains some of those little speckles. But you know what? That doesn't look bad either. I might even encourage that. But looks pretty good. Well, there they are coming out of the oven, and do those look good or not? So shooters and reloaders out there, notice this nice effect. We got a little bit of bird yellow mixed in there, and it's actually in there. I mean, you can't rub that off. That's part of the powder coat. And it's kind of a nice effect. Well, how did that happen? And I just figured it out. So I'm doing some periwinkle gray now. And here's how you get that effect. Doing some color changes here. So there's still some powder of other colors left there. So what you do is you take your periwinkle gray and you come over here to where you have some bird yellow left, and you just roll it in there. And it picks up a little bit of that bird yellow. Like that. Then when we put it in the oven, we should get a nice effect. Let's see what happens. You know, I don't think we ever get tired of taking these things out of the oven. But look at how nice that yellow streaking looks in there. Now, I'm sure some of you out there have done this before, but this might be the first time we've got a posted video on doing these color effects. Look at those. They look monstrously good. And notice I did a couple of them that have the Aqua streaked in there. About 4 of them like that. You can do a hint or you can do a heavy, and it goes in deep. So what do you think about the output? The Virginians of Pickett's division. Well, what this is Pickett's charge. Battle of Gettysburg, 1863. 3 Confederate brigades under Brigadier Generals Kemper on the left and Garnett on the right, and Lewis Armistead in the center in support. And Armistead and Garnett are doing an oblique to try and confuse the Union defenders. Shooters and reloaders, Fortune Cookie 45LC coming to you from the Hot Lead Zone, and see you in the next video. Bye for now.